It is that time. It is my favorite time of the entire year. We are approaching the greatest holiday of the entire year. The leaves are going to change. They're going to fall. It's going to start to get nice and crisp and cool. It's time to read some scary stories. And to be fair, I read scary stories all year long, but there's something special about October, there's something special about Halloween, and I really prioritize, and the vast majority of what I'm reading is going to be scary stories. It's wonderful. Anyway, everybody, as always, the structure for the video. First, I'm going to talk about the books that I'm going to read this month, then I will reveal the winner for the Patreon pick for this month, and then I will be talking about the manga that I will be reading. So, first things first, it's spooky season, and I have a bunch of scary stories, books that I'm going to read. Actually, this month I have 6 books that I'm reading instead of my typical 4, but a lot of them are smaller and stuff like that. And after all those months of reading the Malazan books, it's kind of like I put some of these normal books in there, and it feels like, wow, I can get through more of these than I thought I could. Anyway, starting off the month right, we're starting with a classic. We're going all the way back to Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And this is the classic. This was on my list of shame last year when I was talking about, actually I have 2 books off on this video that's come off straight off of my list of shame. Books I should have read that I haven't read by now. And one of them's Frankenstein. What do you say? It is the OG original story. The man, the scientist, he creates life. He creates a monster, or does he? I don't know. And I've seen so many versions of this story. I've seen so many adaptations of this story. I've seen so many just spins and takes and ideas and whatever. And I've never actually read the original, and I'm super excited to get into it just to see what the actual story really is, what it looks like and what it feels like to read Mary Shelley's version. I actually went all the way back and made sure I got the 1818 edition of the story. It's not even the revised version. So this is the original version of So this is the original version of Frankenstein, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. Next up, and really fast I should say, a lot of these I don't actually have yet. I've ordered them, they're not here yet, so I'll be putting graphics up on the screen. Also, I'm starting out with authors that I haven't read yet, and as I move further into the month, I'll be moving into authors I have read and things that I very much fully expect to like as I get closer to Halloween. But anyway, next up is going to be Bone White by Ronald Malfi. This will be my first Ronald Malfi book ever. Why can't I talk today? This will be my first Ronald Malfi book ever. I wanted to try and read something Ronald Malfi, so I looked up a bunch of little blurbs to see what they were all about, and this one just kind of gave me all the right vibes and all the right feels for what I was looking for to fit into what I was reading this month, and it kind of just fit in with everything else that I was reading. I don't know, it's something about it just felt right. But Bone White is about a man whose brother goes up to Alaska and dies. And then there is a serial killer that is caught in the same area that his brother went missing or was killed in, something like that. So he goes up expecting to find his brother's remains among all of the serial killer's stuff, but he ends up in a small town in Alaska, and he ends up finding traces to, I want to say, the supernatural and all kinds of things, and then he gets to the point where he doesn't know if he'll ever make it out of this small town alive. And I'm just like, this sounds amazing. Like, everything about it just sounds really, really good. So I'm going into Ronald Malfi with my first experience ever being Bone White, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. It sounds great. Then, when I get done with that, I will be moving into The Scarlet Gospels by Clive Barker. Now, I have several books under my belt of Clive Barker. I love Clive. I love his writing. I love his style. I love everything about it. And The Scarlet Gospels is the sequel to The Hellbound Heart, which is Hellraiser. This book is essentially a detective goes into hell to rescue his friend and thwart the plans of the Hell Priest, Pinhead. Yes, please, is all I have to say to that description. And like I said, it's Clive, it's Hellraiser, it's like everything I want for a good Halloween read. And I don't know. That's what we'll be doing. The Scarlet Gospels. And next up, wrapping up all of the core spooky books that I'm going to read this month, is going to be Stephen King's Misery. And this is the other book that came straight off of my list of shame, things that I should have read by now that I just haven't. And Misery is the story of an author who gets in a car accident and he's rescued by his number one fan. But she's a little upset that he killed off one of the characters that she liked. And she's going to make him write a new book by any means necessary. And it's just, I mean, if you haven't seen the movie or anything, I mean, it's just wonderful. I'm just super excited to get into. I love King. He's just so good at everything that he does. And this, I expect this to be just peak spooky season reads for me. We'll see. I don't know, but I have high hopes. Now, also, in there somewhere, right in the middle of all of these spooky reads that I will be reading, Ken Liu's new book drops, All That We See or Seem, on, I want to say, October 14th. I've already pre-ordered it months ago. It will show up on the day of release, and I don't care where I am, whatever book I'm in the middle of reading, I will stop right there in the middle of my sentence, and I will pick up Ken Liu's new book, and I will read that one right then and there. I think, what is it about? Hold on. All That We See or Seem. The story follows Julia Z, a former orphan hacker, as she uses her AI whispering skills to rescue a kidnapped dream artist and unravel a mystery involving virtual reality, shared dreams, and the blurred lines between technology and selfhood. The novel explores themes of AI, art, and the future of creativity, drawing on Liu's background as a technologist and a futurist. And let's be real, it could be about paint drying, and I would pretty much stop everything that I was doing and read that book simply because it was written by Ken Liu. If you have not gotten into his writing yet, I highly recommend you do. It's fabulous. Start with the Paper Menagerie. Anyway, then, so that's it. Those are the 5 books that I plan to read this month that I have picked out for myself, and I'm super excited to read them. Then every single month I do the Patreon pick, and that is where I ask all of my patrons for suggestions as to something they would like me to read. I roll a die, and I pick one at random. This month, the winner of the Patreon pick was Darwin's Radio, and that was nominated by Fiona Moore. Darwin's Radio is a science fiction book about a virus that gets activated inside of humans, and this virus then activates a gene or creates a gene, embeds a gene, something about genetics, and it creates a whole new subset of humanity. Then the book revolves around 3 different scientists that are researching this, and it will also be met with denials from the government, I think the description said. So how the government plays into this, also somehow Neanderthals play into it. It sounds right up my alley. It's also written by Greg Bear, who is somebody that I've never read anything from Greg Bear. Actually, the only reason I even know his name is because he wrote a set of, I want to say, Halo novels, which I've never read any Halo novels, but I just know that he's worked in that universe. I don't know. It sounds good. It really does sound interesting. I think it won several awards as well. Either way, thank you, Fiona, and I will be picking up and reading that this month as well. Now, moving on from there, let's go into the manga that I'm going to read for the month of October. And of course, we have to lean into the spooky season for this as well. And it was really kind of a toss-up between The Drifting Classroom and PTSD Radio, and I landed on PTSD Radio. Not for any real major reason other than the fact that it looked cooler. The art style looked a little bit more intense and in your face, even though I'm still quite interested in the other one. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go with PTSD Radio. I don't know really what it's about, although what I do know, I think, is that it is kind of like a series of short stories that all kind of revolve around the same entity or something like that. And all the short stories kind of fit together thematically and maybe even start to tie in together. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks cool. It looks good. I hear good things about it, so I'll just have to go into it quasi-blind and see how that works out for me. Also, I will be reading my Junji Ito for the year. I always do a Junji Ito for Halloween, and this year I landed on Black Paradox. That one's nice, short, sweet, simple, and from what I understand, or at least what I looked into, it sounds great. It sounds kind of like sci-fi-ish, but also kind of horror, and we're also following 4 different characters. It sounds like it's a pretty good character study. From what I've looked into, I don't know. It sounds really good, and I'm really looking forward to it. That's my Junji Ito for the month. And that's going to wrap it up. That's going to be everything that I'm working on this month. That's everything that I'm going to be reading this month. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. What are you reading this month? What are your plans for Halloween? And as always, everybody, the link for my Patreon's in the description below. The link for my Discord's in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.